And this is the big story segment on the AM show. Let's take a look at the industry, how we're doing. So gold trade is poised to change the face of Ghana's international trade as small-scale and artisanal mining hit $5 billion in export value in months. But we're asking, can we keep this trajectory in a sector fraught with locally, existential and internationally vulnerable challenges? And also, how do we harness this advantage in our quest to industrialize for accelerated development? Let's go first to our lead research and data analyst, Kofi Agyei, on exactly what's happening to our gold trade. And then we'll come back in studio to introduce our guest to you and the discussion will flow. So Kofi Agyei, take us away.
Good morning, Sweetie, and it's good to be here. It is interesting to note the kind of transformation the Ghanaian economy is going through. We've actually transitioned from one point to the other, where some few years ago, this was an economy that was backed by inflows from cocoa. Cocoa predominantly has been the backbone of the economy. Then, in about 8 years ago, we saw the drift from commodity-backed economy, where we were backing the economy with inflows from the euro bonds, right? So you go to the international capital market to go and borrow on average between $2 to $3 billion every year to possibly show up your budget and also to stabilize your economy. But what we are learning and the current shift we are seeing is that the current government wants to move away from that sort of system where you possibly will get money from the Eurobond market to back the economy, to an economy that is backed by gold. And gold here, we are not just talking about the traditional, export numbers that we know, where on average we export about $11.6 billion, dollars. That was in 2024. Government has actually looked at this figure and they know that if you look at the component of this close to $12 billion that comes as a result of gold exports, it's just about 15% that stays with or is actually surrounded to the Bank of Ghana to support Forex. And so you have in 2024, where we exported close about $12 billion of gold. But in that period, you have Bank of Ghana getting less than $2 billion of that $11.6 billion to support the city. So government thought through and said that, well, if we can look at the small scale sector, which they project has an inflow of about $12 billion in 2025, that's the average, we could be cashing in on that and we could be building the economy with that, because gold is now, it's still a precious mineral and it's trading very high on the international space. And if we produce more in Africa, and even when it comes to the global conversation, we are part of that, then why don't we take advantage of it? And so government is targeting inflows from the small scale sector, which they believe this year could bring in about 12 billion US dollars. That's about $1 billion every month. And so I was not shocked when the president actually revealed that we've been able to rake in about 5 billion, because we've been doing the gold board thing for, let's say, close to about 6 or 5 months. And so if you are getting 5 billion, then it sits within the kind of projection that government did, that, well, if we're able to do this and do this, well, we could be getting about 12 billion and $1 billion almost every month. And apart from what we saw when Israel decided to, when we saw the Israel-Iran war that led to both crude prices and gold prices all going down, because people were now looking at the dollar as a store of value. It was that period that there was a bit of panic whether we could go ahead to build an economy that is backed by gold. But another leg of the conversation is that, well, gold is good when you get the inflows. That's perfect. You can use it to show up the city. And many have said that the kind of appreciation we have seen the city go against the dollar, more than 30% in appreciation, and is currently the best performing currency against the dollar, it's predominantly because of gold. But you also need to ask the question, what is the opportunity cost? What are we foregoing to actually get this gold that is currently backing the economy? Have we started talking about, the environmental factors? Have we started talking about galamsey activities? How are we having those conversations? It's not just about getting the inflow. It's not just about, talking about how much gold is bringing, but also the associated, environmental challenges. That is the new leg that people are actually looking at the whole gold board initiative and said that this is a brilliant policy. But if you are definitely targeting small scale miners, in fact, we know how, gold from illegal mining finds its way into such a system. And so how do you block those loopholes? But the good news is that the president has given an indication. The first data we got was somewhere, June, when the government said that when they traded in the full month of June, they got about $1.7 billion from the gold board. Now that we've seen a total figure of $5 billion, US dollars. And this is really helping the cedi stay stable against major trading currencies.
Thank you, Isaac Kofi Agyei, for giving us those diverse perspectives to set the conversation in motion. And so